Right now, more employees of the Madison School District are speaking out and calling for change in the district's discipline policy. We'll tell you what they want to see.
And we have an update from Prairie du Sac, where a man with months to live continues to see an outpouring of support from people across the state.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now This Morning.
Good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining us on Friday the 13th of December. I'm Josh Sprider.
And I'm Leah Lynchide, along with meteorologist Hattie McLean, who is not superstitious at all.
No, I used to have a black cat, so.
Oh.
Whoa, you're tempting fate there.
What was his name?
Inca.
Inca.
Like black ink.
Oh.
I would never probably have a black cat, but I love cats.
I would never have a cat.
Well, alrighty then.
Dog person here. And I'm superstitious, so what spooky forecast do you have us?
All right, you better be careful with that mirror today. Don't break it. Ooh. 7 years of bad luck. All right. Well, kind of a spooky view this morning from the Edgewater Skycam. There is some fog and some drizzle occurring across parts of southern Wisconsin. Visibility is about 2.5 miles at the airport, but I'd say it's a little less here at the station. So there may be some thicker fog developing in between those major reporting stations this morning. Temperatures are below freezing, so again, keep in mind with drizzle and fog and freezing temperatures, there may be some slippery spots forming on any untreated surfaces. So take it easy this morning. Temperatures will climb above the freezing point today, though, to 36. So just some drizzle possible later on this afternoon. Here's a look at our traffic report now. We'll see if there are any major issues happening. Again, 3 things that you should know before you head out the door this morning. Again, there is a potential for some black ice, so keep that in mind. It is a little foggy, so make sure you have the lights on. And with that drizzle, keep the windshield clean. No major issues, though, to tell you about right now. Just a few slow spots starting to form as everyone wakes up and heads into work this morning. Coming up in weather, we'll talk about precipitation chances. I know a lot of people are wondering, will we have a white Christmas here in southern Wisconsin? 2 out of every 3 years, we typically do. I don't know, guys. Not looking good, though, this year.
Cross your fingers, maybe grab your lucky rabbit's foot.
Still have a few days. The forecast is a working document. It could change.
You're ridiculous.
You guys don't have a lucky rabbit's foot?
No. We did have a rabbit on the noon show when I was anchoring yesterday. It really liked me.
There you go. That works. All right, thank you.
Thanks, Ads.
To our top headlines this morning. Employees in the Madison School District want to see change in the disciplinary policy. This comes after the story we first brought you about the Jefferson student who shot another student with a BB gun before threatening to shoot up everyone in the school. The person we spoke with wants to remain anonymous. They say the disciplinary policy in place right now doesn't work for everyone. They want to see the district really put effort into providing students with the support they need to change their behavior, rather than focus on how much or how little punishment to give them.
I don't necessarily think that punishment and consequences are going to change a child's behavior when a child has been exhibiting the same behaviors over and over and over again. When you get to that point where the consequences aren't causing the child's behavior to change, then you got to do something different.
We also reached out to the Madison School District. They responded, saying in part, research shows that behavior change takes time. We believe in teaching and intervention over consequences and punishment. We want to respond to behavior in a way that is just and equitable.
The Madison School District and police are investigating after several hidden cameras were found in students' hotel rooms during a school-sponsored trip to Minneapolis. A spokesperson for the Madison School District confirmed students from East High School found the devices in their rooms last weekend. The Minneapolis Police Department is looking into the incident in coordination with Madison Police. The spokesperson says a Madison East teacher who is chaperoning the trip has been placed on leave as a precaution during this investigation.
We are learning more about the Madison mom who could face charges after attacking a school staff member. Police say LaCondace Walker walked into Orchard Ridge Elementary School on Wednesday, angry over how the school had disciplined her child. Officers say Walker grabbed the staff member by the hair, punched her in the face, threw her to the ground, and started kicking her. Other staff pulled her off the victim, who was rushed into a nearby locked office. Walker faces charges now for felony battery to a school employee and disorderly conduct. The staff member had to be taken to the hospital and was treated for facial and head injuries.
Breaking overnight into the Channel 3000 Alert Center, Madison police are investigating after an East Side family woke up to a stranger in their home. A man and his wife say they heard someone in their house on La Sierra Way just off of Buckeye Road at around 10 o'clock last night. He went to investigate and found a man wearing dark clothes. That suspect climbed out of the kitchen window and got away. Police think the suspect was able to get into the home through that window. Nothing was taken from that home.
Middleton police say 3 students are facing charges for online threats that closed 2 area schools this week. The district says all 3 students have since been suspended. Both Middleton and Clark Street community schools were closed on Wednesday. 17-year-old Jacob Ripp is facing charges of unlawful use of computerized communication systems. 2 other 16-year-olds are also facing charges.
5 minutes past 6 o'clock right now. The average American holds 12 different jobs in their lifetime.
Middleton Police Chief Chuck Falk has held 9, but all have been at the Middleton Police Department. Only our Christina Laurie is sitting down with Chief Falk this morning to reflect on his 4 decades of service. Hi, Christina.
Hi, Josh and Leah. From intern to chief, Chuck Falk has held nearly every position here at the Middleton Police Department, and that experience was put on full display during last year's workplace shooting. I know that was probably one of the toughest times as chief, but you've had so many memorable moments, both good and bad. What sticks out in your memory?
Well, I think I'll answer that in kind of generalities. Worst things, and I've put those away. Those are kind of in a drawer that I don't want to open too often. But anytime any public safety official deals with a child death or bad things happening to children, it really hits home to all of us. And, you know, many of us have our own children. It's pretty easy then to reflect on that and, you know, how would something like that affect your family. So, yeah, I've been involved in cases where children have been victims or have been killed, and those are the ones that are really tough that will always kind of be in the back of my mind. And
That's
as far
something everyone at home can relate to as well.
I absolutely, because it's not just public safety people, but oftentimes as first responders, you know, we see those kind of up close and personal, and when you investigate things like that and so on, it can be, well, heartbreaking, and see how it affects parents, families, the community even. As far as good things,
yes, we want to get to the good.
Yeah. Again, kind of in a generality, but I love working with the people here. And, man, we have a lot of laughs. And maybe that sounds unusual that in a profession like this, but laughter is kind of what gets us through. And I'll just remember some of those times a couple weeks ago. A couple officers down, and right after our briefing started talking about a movie, and they were exchanging lines from this movie back and forth, and it was hilarious. And I was, you know, it was 7 a.m., and I'm just like rolling in my chair laughing at things like that. So it's the camaraderie and the laughter and the good friends that I've made in this organization that I'll think about good times.
It's always great when coworkers can become family, and I know they're going to be celebrating you later today. We're celebrating Chief Falk all morning here on News 3 Now this morning, and we're going to continue this conversation ahead at 6:30 when we ask him what's next, both for him personally and the Middleton Police Department. But for now, I'll send it back to you, Josh and Leah.
Well-deserved retirement right there. All right, Christina Laurie, thank you very much.
Over the past week, a Prairie du Sac man with stage 4 pancreatic cancer has been asking for cards as his final Christmas wish.
Yesterday, he got a visit from a group of 5th graders. Take a look.
I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas from the bottom of my heart.
That right there, folks, is the reason for the season.
My eyes are watering.
I know, you can't help it. This is Grand Avenue's 5th grade chorus under the direction of Glenn Schuster, sharing their Christmas wishes with Gene Whitenhiller. Many of these students have made cards for Gene as well, which are just some of the thousands he has already received.
Just incredible.
Oh, it brings you to tears, it really does.
The reason for the season, and just kind of cool to see kids especially understanding how important that is as well.
The power of kindness.
All right, 6:09 right now. The next step in the impeachment process is expected to happen today. Coming up, we'll tell you why a vote was delayed overnight and whether Wisconsin voters have changed their minds on the impeachment proceedings.
But first, Teddy has our first alert forecast heading into the weekend. Chances are you won't see much sun, but she's going to tell us whether we'll see more of that freezing drizzle. That's straight ahead on News 3 Now this morning.
Good Friday morning from the Hattie-O Patio, where we have some pretty heavy drizzle coming down right now, and you may be encountering that same thing in your area this morning. As far as snow, though, not a lot of that in the forecast over the last few weeks. That cannot be said, though, for the northern part of the state, picking up several inches of snow yesterday once again. Take a look, though, at that snow depth. Bare ground here across southern Wisconsin, but quite a bit of snow, over a foot on the ground in some locations as you head into the north woods. And that really has an impact on temperatures as well, as you can imagine. Now, Doppler track this morning is showing you some light snow out to the west. This next storm system will move through the area later today into tonight. Here in southern Wisconsin, though, we're not likely to see much more than drizzle or flurries from this particular system, but it will bring the potential for some freezing drizzle overnight as temperatures drop below the freezing point once again. So as far as accumulating snow, not looking too good for us here, but in the north woods, some light accumulations will be possible once again today. So that trend continues with relatively quiet weather here. We do have clouds, even though we're not seeing a lot of precipitation. We definitely have low cloud cover and fog this morning. Temperatures are just below freezing here, upper 20s across southern Wisconsin. Contrast that with 10 in Eau Claire and 11 in Minneapolis. So that snow really does make a difference in those temperatures. Here's a look at closer look at numbers across southern Wisconsin. 30 right now in Mineral Point and Janesville, 29 in Platteville and Monroe, down to 22 right now in the Dells. With temperatures just below freezing and some drizzle and fog forming, there could be some slippery spots, some black ice forming on area roads that are untreated. So keep that in mind as you hit the roads this morning. Again, some of those visibilities may be less than 2 miles in some spots in between the major cities. Winds are not a huge factor this morning, and they're expected to stay light through the day. Unfortunately, though, we're going to keep the clouds throughout the day today. Look for temperatures to climb into the mid-30s. There's an outside chance for a few flurries this afternoon, but it's not a very good chance here across southern Wisconsin. Be more likely to see some drizzle. Now, overnight tonight, as temperatures fall below the freezing point once again, that drizzle may turn to freezing drizzle on Saturday. Your extended forecast calls for falling temperatures through the day on Saturday. We finally get the sunshine back in the forecast on Sunday with highs only in the low 20s. Overall, though, looking pretty quiet outside of a chance for flurries or a little bit of drizzle here and there. No major storms expected in our area next week. Now let's get a look at your traffic report this morning. We'll send it over to Josh Tim. Good morning, Josh.
Good morning, guys. So far, really nothing to slow you down yet in either direction on the Beltline. Everything is looking good right now. Checking out some other roads here in Dane County, there are just a few brake lights on Stoughton Road as you approach the Beltline, and make sure you keep an eye out for some slick areas when you head out the door. There's some light drizzle happening in the area. No delays downtown around campus. Volume won't be an issue at least for another hour or so. And other main routes coming into the city, they're moving along at the posted speeds with no major crashes or delays. With your first alert traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
Thank you, Josh, and thank you, Hattie. In national news this morning, a vote on articles of impeachment against President Trump could come as soon as today. The House Judiciary Committee debated for more than 14 hours yesterday before ending late into the night. Chairman Jerry Nadler says he didn't want to vote on the articles in the middle of the night, but Republicans are accusing him of delaying the vote to get more publicity. That vote is expected to fall along party lines, which would set up a possible full House vote on impeachment next week. The latest Marquette poll says public opinion on the impeachment hasn't changed much here in Wisconsin. The percent of those supporting the impeachment and removal of President Trump remains at 40%. Opposition dropped 1 point to 52, well within the margin of error of 4%. Head-to-head general election matchups between Trump and Democratic candidates shows Democrats were ahead back in October, but now the poll shows Joe Biden ahead of President Trump by 1%. The president is ahead of Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, Pete Buttigieg, and Cory Booker. 800 registered voters in the state were polled.
Federal regulators are setting up a new 3-digit number for a suicide prevention hotline to make it easier to seek help and reduce the stigma associated with mental health. Once it's implemented, people will need to just dial 988, similar to calling 911 for emergencies or 311 for city services. Currently, the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline uses a 10-digit number, 800-273-TALK. Callers are routed to one of 163 crisis centers where counselors answered more than 2 million calls last year. There were 45,000 suicide deaths in 2016. The Adams County District Attorney has filed charges against Robert J. Olson in connection to a missing person case. Olson is charged with hiding a corpse, providing false information on a missing person, and obstructing an officer. On November 23rd, a hunter came across human remains in a wooded area of Adams County belonging to 24-year-old Anastasia Evans. That investigation is still ongoing.
Leaders in a Rock County community are concerned about the number of sex offenders living in a former motel. The building operates as the Jesse Crawford Recovery Center in the town of Harmony. It's currently home to 8 sex offenders. The center was designed to treat those with addiction to drugs or alcohol, but its president and CEO says the Department of Corrections has been asking them to take in more offenders.
My belief is that sex offenders need a place to live, like anyone else in our community. And in a situation like this, at least they're monitored.
The town's administrator is concerned. There's been little to no communication that this would be happening. He's also worried about the building's zoning, saying its conditional use permit is still for a motel. Crawford says he is willing to meet with the board if necessary.
More local news now. A new development called Madison Yard says it has signed a lease with Whole Foods Market to serve as an anchor store and take up to 50,000 square feet of the development. According to the development's website, Madison Yards is a future-focused community serving the open, engaged, and progressive Madison culture. In addition to the Whole Foods, there will also be office and medical spaces, a walkable green plaza and hotel, more than 400 residential units, and more than 100,000 square feet of retail, restaurants, and entertainment spaces. Is at the intersection of University Avenue and North Seago Road.
All right, 6:19 on your Friday. Up next, The Rock, Kevin Hart, and Jack Black are all back, hoping to level up in theaters with their new sequel this weekend. Our Will Loper is in next with a preview of Jumanji, The Next Level.
But first, it is dry skies so far this morning, but there might be some slick spots out there as we have the chance for some freezing drizzle. Hattie's in next with what you need to know before heading out the door on News 3 Now this morning.
It's a
Welcome back at 6:23 on your Friday. Could be a little icy commute to work this morning.
Yeah, in some spots that aren't treated. Take a look at the camera behind us. This is the Edgewater cam. There's some fog.
Spooky for you.
Friday the 13th.
A little fog, some drizzle occurring. Temperatures are just below freezing, so that's creating a few slick spots on the roads. Be aware of that. Here's a look at visibility. Not terrible in any one spot. 2.5 miles here in Madison. Maybe less, though, in between some of those major reporting stations. And with temperatures below freezing, that could create some slippery spots, some black ice on the road. So be careful this morning. It's 30 in Janesville, only 28 here in Madison. Watertown is 30 degrees. To the west, temperatures are in the mid to upper 20s as well. Your bus stop weather forecast has clouds through the day, some drizzle still possible even into the afternoon, but temperatures will climb above the freezing point, so it shouldn't be slippery later on today with a high of 36. Have a wonderful Friday.
All right, thank you very much, Hattie.
All right, new in theaters this weekend, we've got Will Loper with a good preview.
I do, yep. Jumanji, the next level. We got The Rock, Kevin Hart, they're back. We'll see if they can pull this off. Take a look.
I'm coming.
Grandpa Eddie, morning.
Did you guys see Spencer?
Who's that? I think he went back in. We gotta go get him.
You hear something? We haven't even picked our guys yet. Are we in Florida?
Oh my God.
My joints feel like butter.
Oh, never. I'll lose myself.
After Danny DeVito and Danny Glover get transported into the Jumanji video game, it's up to them and the rest of the characters to survive the next level up.
You are a terrible driver. What are you talking about? I just passed my driver's test last month again. We're not going to make it. We're going to make it. I don't think we're going to make it.
Jumanji The Next Level is rated PG-13.
Looking good.
It is, yeah, and I was really skeptical about the first one because I'm like, oh, you can't replace Robin Williams, you know,
yeah.
but I gave it a chance and I really liked it. Did you guys see the first, you know, the rebooted Jumanji?
No, I watched the previews and thought about going, but I had the same idea. Just how do you replace Robin Williams?
You guys should give it a chance. It's a lot of fun. And this one, they're saying it's not as good as that one, but it's still, you know, there's enough new things. And Danny DeVito, Danny Glover, this is going to be fun.
I'm a huge Rock fan. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
WWE all the way.
And now, do you like The Rock as Danny DeVito?
I don't know.
That's a little twisted.
It's a very hard to wrap your head around. Yes, I know, yeah.
You gonna have a review on Monday?
Yep, I sure will.
All right, cool.
Thank you, guys.
Good to see you.
Still ahead for us, we've got the top 3 things you need to know this morning before you head out the door.
Plus, experts at Madison College have a warning for parents this morning after a family reported a security camera in their daughter's bedroom was hacked. We'll have his advice. It's coming up on News 3 Now this morning.
For reliable weather day in and day out, watch First Alert Weather.
Get
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining us on a Friday morning. We made it to December 13th, Friday the 13th.
Woo.
I know. I'm Josh Breiter.
And I'm a very superstitious Leah Lynchide. We will check in with Hattie's spooky forecast coming up in just a minute. But first, the top 3 headlines. A vote on articles of impeachment against President Trump could come this morning. The House Judiciary Committee debated for more than 14 hours yesterday before ending late in the night. They'll pick things back up this morning and are expected to approve the articles along party lines. That would set up a full House vote on impeachment sometime next week.
And the second story, exit polls are showing British Prime Minister Boris Johnson's Conservative Party will likely win a majority of seats in Parliament. That would mean Johnson will be able to follow through on his plan to take Britain out of the European Union by January 31st. Official results are expected later this morning.
And the third story we're following, locally, more employees in the Madison School District are coming forward, saying they want to see changes in the district's disciplinary policy. An employee who would like to remain anonymous tells News 3 Now they want to see the district put more effort into changing behaviors of troubled students. The district says they believe in teaching and intervention over consequences and punishment.
Those are your top 3 headlines today, and Hattie's here with what you need to know as you head out the door. It might be slick out there, Hads.
That's true, Josh and Leah. I actually just went into the parking lot, and all the news cars have a very thin layer of ice that has been forming just over the last couple of hours. We have fog and drizzle here on the west side, so if you park your car outside, you may need to plan just a little extra time to scrape the windshield this morning. Visibility is down to 2.5 miles here in Madison, so there is some patchy fog developing across the area. As you head out the door, again, as Josh mentioned, that fog and drizzle with temperatures below freezing is creating a few slippery spots. Any untreated surfaces could be slick this morning, so keep that in mind as you head out onto the roads. Temperatures will climb above the freezing point, though, this afternoon with just some drizzle later on. Here's a look at your traffic report early this morning. We are dealing with a few slowdowns on the eastbound side of the Beltline right at Verona Road. A few brake lights as well on Stoughton Road. No other major issues to tell you about at this hour. Coming up in 10 minutes, Josh always likes to know when he can get the car washed. We do have the potential for car washing coming up, especially the second part of the weekend.
Yeah, my car needs a wash, too, so that's good news. Leah?
Stop, I washed it last week, enough.
6:32 right now. A parent's worst nightmare happened to a family in Mississippi after a stranger hacked into a security camera in their child's bedroom and began speaking to her. This viral video shows the child hearing music and then a stranger asking her to be his friend, claiming he was Santa Claus. An information security instructor at Madison College says any device that has a camera or microphone could be hacked. His recommendation is to only put cameras where you would be comfortable with anyone seeing what the camera can see or hear.
What risks with this you're willing to accept? I mean, that's really it. You know what I mean? Is it worth more to you to be able to watch the bedroom and take the chance that it's not going to get broken into? You know, I mean, it's not rampant, you know, where like every camera is getting broken into, but it's a possibility.
If you have a camera or listening device that has been compromised or hacked, he recommends disconnecting it and not using it again.
6:32 now. Middleton Police Chief Charles Falk will close the final chapter on his career today.
Chuck, as he's known by his community, is retiring after nearly 4 decades in service, and that city is celebrating him in a very special way. Christina Laurie is talking to the chief exclusively and joins us live this morning. Hi, Christina.
Hi, Josh and Leah. It's Chuck Folk Day here in Middleton, and we are with who else but Chuck Folk himself. I don't think I've ever sat down with someone who has an official day named after them on that official day. So congratulations.
Thank you. And I don't know exactly what that means. I haven't been given the key to the city or anything, but it was nice that in a proclamation in front of our city council, they did say that, yes.
We only have a little bit of time with you, so I want to go through some rapid fire. What is the #1 thing that you're looking forward to most in retirement?
Probably not worrying about getting those 3 a.m. telephone calls.
That's always good.
Yep.
I can relate as well.
Yep.
What is the #1 piece of advice you would have for the next chief of police?
Well, for one thing, they don't need my advice, and I'm going to butt out.
Okay.
But it would be to take care of the employees that work here. We have fantastic employees. We've got a great culture, and I know they want to keep that, and I think it's worth keeping.
What has been the best part serving as chief of police?
Well, our community outreach has been returned in spades by members of our community, and the way they have supported us through traumatic events and through just everyday interactions with them has always been heartwarming to me.
And what will you miss most about serving this community?
Well, I love working here. It's a great city to work for. I love the men and women in this organization. And as I said, the community outreach that we have done has just been returned. So working with those people in our community and having that positive interactions with them is something that I'll miss.
And the whole community will miss you. Thank you so much for talking to us, and thank you for your service over the past nearly 4 decades. We talked to so many different law enforcement officers here on our program and just working in the news in general, and you're truly one of the nicest, best at your job, so thank you.
Well, and thank you, and I thank the local media. I've always strived to work cooperatively with the local media because they help us and they help get the word out and get important information out to our citizens. So I thank you for assisting in that.
It definitely goes both ways. One of the most humble men that you'll meet, Josh and Leah. You can catch our full conversation. It'll be posted on channel3000.com.
Such a hardworking gentleman, and a pleasure to work with him over the years. Christina, thank you very much.
6:35 right now. Police can use all sorts of technology these days to follow leads and solve a case.
It turns out that can include finding a missing puppy. Wisconsin state troopers used a drone to track down the pup who'd been missing since a car crash near Green Bay. The 12-week-old Australian Shepherd named River was missing for hours until Trooper John Jones used the department's new technology to find paw prints in the snow. From there, he was able to find a spot where River might have been.
So I got down and I looked into this hole, and he was in the whole arm length, and I saw something moving in there, and I thought, well, it's a puppy or a badger. I'm going to come out either a hero or they're going to be mad as why would you stick your hand in a hole and you got your fingers all chewed up. And eventually his little nose came out and sniffed my hand, and then he got a little closer and I petted him, and as soon as I could get a hold of a collar, boom, he's out of the hole.
Leah's favorite story this morning.
I love it. River's owner says the rescue operation brought everyone to tears and described it as the best feeling ever.
I love those selfies he took with the pup, too.
Look at that little pup.
Oh.
He's a beautiful guy.
That is a way to make you smile on a Friday.
Nice little Christmas miracle.
6:36 right now. Coming up in the morning sprint, we'll have the latest on the investigation into how secret cameras ended up in the hotel rooms of Madison high school students on a field trip.
But first, we're down to the last week or so before the holidays. So if you're looking for things to do to get the family in the spirit, we'll tell you what's going around town in the Weekend 608 when we return. All right, 6:40, time to check in with how your morning is looking this morning. Greg's morning looking pretty beautiful. I think that this is on the shores of Lake Monona.
Yeah, you can definitely tell a little bit of the steam coming off of the lake. I know we've talked about that before, and it's always beautiful this time of the year, especially when there isn't ice. I know a lot of people waiting for that ice at this point.
I know I'm a little biased, but I really do think that we have one of the most beautiful shorelines here in Madison.
I think we have the most beautiful city in the world.
Ooh, Josh Spreiter stepping
Nobody
it
can
up a
argue
little
with me
bit.
about that.
He is now a Wisconsinite, not
Heck
a
yeah.
Minnesotan. Love
Sure.
it. Thanks for sharing, Greg.
If you've got a photo that you'd like to share with us of your morning, you can do so right now on our Facebook page. Well, it is Friday, and there is plenty to do in the 608 with the family this weekend.
Here's a look at some of the events going on around town with a little help from our friends over at Madison Magazine. The Overture Center and the Madison Symphony Orchestra are hosting 2 Christmas Carol sing-alongs this weekend. The first is the annual A Madison Symphony Christmas. Each performance on Friday and Saturday nights, then Sunday afternoon, will end with the entire audience invited to sing holiday favorites together. A separate event that's all about the singing of carols, attendees included, is the Saturday morning free community carol sing. That's led by the Overture's principal organist.
A day-long benefit show for local charities is taking place Sunday at the High Noon Saloon. The Recreational Rhythms Winter Ball is in its 15th year. It starts with a family friend block from 2 to 5 p.m., which will feature David Landau and Better Yeti. Then from 5:30 to close, several bands, including Madtown Manish Boys and Vanessa Tortolano, will keep an older crowd dancing. The event has raised more than $30,000 for organizations in the area.
There's an opportunity for the kids to get into the holiday spirit this month as well. Olbrick's Holiday Express is on display until the end of the month. Large-scale model trains wind through holiday decorations, including hundreds of poinsettias and evergreens. You can check it out from 10 until 4 every day at the Olbrick Gardens.
And an annual holiday tradition returns to the Dane County Regional Airport. Holiday tunes kick off tomorrow with performances at the south end of the terminal. Then at 4 o'clock on Sunday, there will be a free community sing-along. The live music will happen every day until next Sunday. Times of each performance can be found on the airport's website.
And for more ideas for activities and everything else Madison has to offer, you can grab a copy of this month's Madison Magazine.
6:42 right now, and you might want to bundle up if your plans take you outside this weekend. Hattie says temperatures are going to start dropping below freezing again over the next couple of days. She's also talking about some freezing rain chances coming up in her first alert forecast.
Quite a foggy one out there this morning, folks. But if you have a little kid turning 3 soon, please let us know so we can show their picture on TV. Thanks for watching News 3 Now this morning.
Look who's 3.
6:45 on a Friday morning and a foggy shot of downtown Madison this morning. Waking up kind of spooky out there on this Friday the 13th.
In case you haven't heard us talk about it, it is Friday the 13th. Hattie's got a superstitious forecast for us, right?
Well, I don't know. It depends if you're superstitious or not. It's not a bad forecast, but there is some drizzle and fog in the area this morning. It should clear out of here, though, as we head through the weekend. Take a look at your holiday planner. If you have plans Saturday night to be out and about, temperatures will be dropping pretty quickly. In the mid-20s at 5, down into the teens by 11. Any precipitation, though, should be coming to an end. We'll look for more sunshine in the area on Sunday. Take a look at the high temperature trend. Again, cooling down pretty big time this weekend, but then staying near normal as we head through next week. Normal highs are in the low 30s and upper 20s this time of the year, and that's right where we'll be. Overall, the weather forecast looks pretty quiet as well heading into next week. Here's a look at your future track forecast model starting Saturday evening. Just cloudy skies across the area. A little bit of clearing on Sunday, but then we've been watching the storm system for Monday. Looks like the latest forecast models are in fact keeping that storm system to the south. So Monday morning, cloudy skies across southern Wisconsin. It's a close call with this system. It is going to impact parts of northern Illinois, but it looks like most of that precipitation is going to stay south of our area. Again, we'll keep our eye on it through the weekend, but it is trending further to the south. Then we clear out and have lots of sunshine for the remainder of the week. Now, here's a look at your WISC-TV sky camera shot. Not able to see anything this morning with fog in place. Visibility looks like this, about 3 miles at the airport, but you can see a little less here on the west side of town. Overall, we're not looking at any major reduced visibility situations this morning, but in between some of those major reporting stations, there could be some pretty dense fog. Temperatures are below the freezing point as well, so that means there could be some slippery spots on the roads. Winds are not going to be a huge factor today, though. Unlike the last couple of days, winds will be near calm through the day today, so that's good news. No wind chill to factor in. Your future track forecast model, cloudy skies this morning. Temperatures in the 20s. We'll eventually make it back above the freezing point by lunchtime, right around 33 here in Madison. There may still be some drizzle or even a few flurries this afternoon to the north, but no accumulation is expected. Overnight tonight, as temperatures drop back below the freezing point, there could be some freezing drizzle during the overnight hours into early Saturday. Temperatures will then drop through the day on Saturday, and on Sunday, we have highs in the low 20s. Let's take a look at our pet walk forecast. Oh, this is a whole lot of cute. Look at Mitch and Madison, all ready to go, jacket on, leash hooked up. Not a bad day for a walk. Just be a little careful. I love
Mitch's
it.
parents need a babysitter, because send them over.
I think so. We'd all
What a
walk, Mitch.
Beauty. Thank you, Hattie.
You're welcome.
Stay with us for the morning sprint up next.
The links
6:51, time for the morning sprint as our team gets you ready with everything you need to know on your Friday morning.
Hattie's talking about some fog and drizzle that has Boston schools opening 2 hours late this morning, but we start inside Madison schools. That's where more district employees are speaking out about the district's discipline policies. We spoke to a staff member who wanted to remain anonymous, saying the current policy doesn't work for every student. They want to see more effort put into changing student behavior. The district responded, saying research backs up their policy, and it takes time to see behavior changes in students.
The Madison School District and police are investigating after several hidden cameras were found in students' hotel rooms during a school-sponsored trip to Minneapolis. A spokesperson for the Madison School District confirmed students from East High School found the devices in their rooms last weekend. A Madison East teacher who was chaperoning the trip had been placed on leave as a precaution during the investigation.
Police say this woman, LaConda Walker, is facing charges after attacking an educator at Orchard Ridge Elementary School over how her child was disciplined. Police say Walker grabbed the staff member by the hair, punched her in the face, and kicked her after throwing her on the ground. She is facing felony battery charges.
Breaking overnight into the Channel 3000 Alert Center, Madison police are investigating after an East Side family woke up to a stranger in their home. A man and his wife say they heard someone in their house on La Sierra Way just off of Buckeye Road around 10 o'clock last night. He went to investigate and found a man wearing dark clothes. That suspect climbed out of the kitchen window and got away.
And we're starting with a little bit of fog this morning across southern Wisconsin. Visibility still better than 3 miles in most spots, but that fog may be creating some slippery spots on the roads. Drizzle also occurring in some spots. Temperatures are below freezing, so untreated surfaces will be a little slick. Temperatures will climb above the freezing point this afternoon. Winds will be light with a high of 36 degrees.
Thanks, Hattie. We're expecting a vote on articles of impeachment against President Trump today. The House Judiciary Committee debated for more than 14 hours yesterday before ending late in the night. They'll pick things back up this morning and are expected to approve the articles along party lines. That would set up a full House vote on impeachment sometime next week.
It appears Brexit is on track to happen by the end of January after UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson's Conservative Party declared victory in the election overnight. That win ensures Johnson will have the support in Parliament to go ahead with his plan to take the UK out of the European Union by January 31st.
The Adams County District Attorney is filing charges against this man, Robert J. Olson, in connection to the disappearance of 24-year-old Anastasia Evans. Olson is charged with hiding a corpse, providing false information on a missing person, and obstructing an officer. On November 23rd, a hunter came across human remains in a wooded area of Adams County belonging to Evans. That investigation is ongoing.
Middleton police say 3 students are facing charges for online threats that closed 2 area schools this week. Both Middleton High School and Clark Street Community School were closed on Wednesday. The district says all 3 students have since been suspended. 17-year-old Jacob Ripp is facing charges of unlawful use of computerized communication systems. 2 other 16-year-olds are also facing charges.
It's Chuck Folk Day here in Middleton as Police Chief Charles Folk's nearly 4 decades of service come to an end when he officially retires from the police department. Folk started as an intern here, working his way all the way up to police chief. He's held 9 jobs at the department over the years. He notably led Middleton through last year's workplace shooting, calling that one of the most trying days of his career. Folk notified the city council of his intent to step down over the summer. The council hopes to have a new chief named by January. We spoke exclusively with Folk about what's next for him and his department in our show this morning. You can watch our full conversation on channel3000.com.
Christina, thank you. The man killed in this week's officer-involved shooting in Beloit is being identified as 23-year-old Monte Penning. According to police, Penning was spotted driving a stolen car shortly before noon Tuesday. Following a short chase, Penning was shot and killed by 3 officers on Harrison Avenue. Beloit police say they thought he had a gun, but that fact has not been confirmed by state investigators.
Loved ones are saying goodbye to one of 3 Minnesota National Guard members killed in a helicopter crash. Sergeant Court Plantenberg and 2 other guardsmen were killed when their Black Hawk helicopter crashed last week during a maintenance test flight. A team of investigators is still working to figure out what went wrong. Flags were flown at half-staff Thursday in honor of Sergeant Plantenberg. Funerals for Rogers and Nord are scheduled for next week.
Officials in Waukesha will continue investigating what caused an explosion that could be felt a half-mile away. It happened at the air gas plant yesterday afternoon. Representatives from the company say the explosion came from the hydrogen storage area of the plant. Firefighters were able to put out that fire quickly.
6:56 now. Let's turn it over to Josh Tim with a look at your Friday First Alert traffic. Hey, Josh.
Hey, good morning, guys. The roads are pretty slick this morning, especially on the ramps and the bridges. Just make sure you give yourself a little extra time. Picking up now on the westbound Beltline between Stone Road and Monona Drive, going to add an extra minute or two. Starting to slow down in inbound John Nolan at Rimrock as you make your way into downtown. And other main routes coming into the city are cruising along at posted speeds with no crashes or delays. Your First Alert traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
Thanks, Josh. Have a great weekend.
And remember, it's a little foggy outside, some drizzle as well. Temperatures are below freezing, so it may be a little slippery in some spots on the area roads this morning. Mostly cloudy skies, though, through the day with a high of 36. That threat for drizzle continues right into the afternoon. We will clear things out, though, as we head to the second part of the weekend, especially more sunshine in the forecast on Sunday, but it will be a little colder.
All right, Hattie, thank you very much. Reminder that Madison schools are running 2 hours late this morning. We'll keep you updated over on channel3000.com. Make it a great day.